welcome back to my channel. I'm Jennifer Glatzhofer, a musical theatre performer, a voice teacher, and today we will be talking about something very important: the mix. There are lots of videos on YouTube, on TikTok, everywhere that focus on the mix. So what I hope I can share with you today is a little bit more clarity about what the mix is and some exercises that will help you strengthen your mix. If you want to know more about the mix and pick up some tips and tricks along the way, I do suggest you go and check out some of my reaction videos where I stop, pause, break down what's happening with the singer and how they're achieving that. Plus, we just have a really super time listening to awesome singers slay. Do hit that subscribe button, the like button, and the bell button to be notified whenever I post, and let's get to it. If you're sat there thinking, what even is a mix? Don't worry. The journey of finding your mix will be forever growing, as, spoiler alert, there isn't just one mix. But on a serious note, this video is ideal for those of you who have got a chest voice, got your head voice, and you just really want to focus on that middle part of your voice where that transition part happens. So you feel like you have your chest voice, right? And you have your head voice. But then what happens in between? You hear a little flip, maybe something like this. That flip happened. That's what we're going to be talking about today. What to do in that transitional moment, how to disguise it and hide the fact that we have a flip, because everyone has a flip, right? It's really noticeable from our chest to our head voice, but how do we smooth that out? So first of all, our mix is a combination, a blend of our chest voice and head voice. That is the mix of our first passage. But this doesn't always have to be a 50-50% blend. Sometimes we may want a chest-dominant mix to really work on our belt style. Other times we want to lighten it up and have a more head-dominant mix. It's completely up to you, and that's when the fun begins, because we can play around with colours and shades. As I mentioned previously, that moment where that chest voice and head voice meet and we can hear that flip, that's our first passage. Firstly, there are three ways you can kind of approach this note. Option one is having too much airflow, and we hear and feel that disconnection, and probably more a breath-like head voice. Our second approach is to approach this with thick folds all the way through, reaching with our chest voice. This can go towards a more heavier sound and can lead to a lot of strain and tension. Or option three, the golden option, is to find that mix, that balance of air and muscle work. That is the mix, mixing the two together. Just know that that transition point in our voice, the mixed voice, will take the longest to develop, because you need to have a strong chest voice and you need to have a strong head voice. Both of these areas need to be fully developed before you can really play around with the mix and achieve the mix you want. So let's think about this first then. Answer that question. Are you someone who pushes through and reaches up with their chest voice to hit that high note? Or do you naturally want to flip and go into a more breathier head voice? So we know that the answer in getting that sound that you want is finding your mix. Once you know which approach your voice favours, then you know what area you need to work on. And as I mentioned, we want to develop a strong chest voice and a strong head voice. That chest voice needs to be developed because we want that speech-like quality to be taken up, but not that heaviness and thick folds. We need that head voice developed so that we can bring a lighter quality down into our mix. I know it's a lot to take in, but the fact that you are here and dedicated to work through your mix shows a lot. Right, let's talk about my favourite exercises, but first of all, I just want to check in with those registers. Our chest voice is essentially our speaking voice, so really connect back to how we are talking. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Really think of that yummy chocolate cake or whatever you like to eat. For our head voice, I want you to imitate someone on a roller coaster or an owl. Woo! Hoo! Hoo! You can feed it up here. I have a few sayings for you to find your mix, so go with me. The mix will probably sound like a really annoying sound at first. I want you to go 100% for it. So repeat after me. Hey! Hey! If you want to go a little bit lower down in pitch, hey, hey, that's fine for our lower voices out there, but we want to keep lifted and bright. Hey, hey, that's mine, that's mine. I told you it was crazy. Oh no. Hear that whininess. Oh no. So we can hear already that we have a speech-like quality into this, but we also have a lighter feel. Mommy made me do it. Mommy made me do it. We can also hear this thing called the cry. This is super important. One last bit of solid advice before we go on to the exercises is this. I like to think of my voice as a triangle. So at the bottom, we have our thick folds, we have our speaking voice, and it's naturally quite loud. As we go higher into this tinier space, the higher register, we don't want to bring up the heaviness and keep everything on a thick fold and reach up our chest voice. We want to think of this small sounding space. And that's what I want you to keep in mind when going through these exercises. So let's talk about the exercises. The very first thing I would do is work through some lip trills. Have your fingers just gently pushed up just to make sure you are really relying on that airflow and resisting that. Remember that triangle image I just told you? This is what I mean. Rather than lifting up your chest voice, really let your voice go into all the registers that it wants to go to. I particularly like working with an 1.5 octave scale. You can find these online. Otherwise, it's this. Remember to stick to that vowel to really connect to our speaking voice, even as we go higher, and also make sure that our teeth are not clenched. The next exercise I like doing is practicing a nay sound. If you watch my warm-up, I did these on there, as well as the lip trills actually, but really go for the ugly sound. I know it sounds horrible and you probably want to shy away from that sound because, you know, singing is meant to be pretty. Yes, singing is meant to be beautiful and something that you want to listen to. But this is an exercise. We are just strengthening up these muscles, and in this particular case, we are strengthening up our AES. Remember to think quiet on the top. Nay, 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 nay. I'm not pushing that chest voice to get that volume, but in fact, that annoying sound is actually helping me with that volume and the brightness. Again, you could do an 1.5 octave scale or an octave repeat, or even just a 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Nay, 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 nay. Keep it really ugly. Nay, 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 nay. Quite pouty and bossy, kind of that whininess is in there for sure. Nay, nay, nay. Keep it up. Next, we have an exercise where we're focusing on the word mum. Again, really focusing on this vowel. Mum, mum, mum. Kind of like you're like a fish. Mum, mum, mum. We're also using that M to grow that resistance. Practice first just as if you would an acting exercise. Mum, 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 mum. Mum, mum, mum. Again, that whininess is there, and also I'm connecting to my speaking voice. Keep it very conversational. Mum, 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 mum. Another top tip, as you're keeping quiet at the top, squat a little bit. I wasn't going to disappear, I promise. The exercise I would like to do on this is probably an octave repeat. An 1.5 octaves is great as well, or a 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Mum, 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 mum. Really conversational, just Mum, 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 mum. Oh, that's mine. You know, it's that whininess in there. And the last exercise I have for you today is a crying exercise. I mentioned this earlier. Really go for it. I want you to imitate a baby crying. Super weird, but go with it. This will really help with lightening up your sound and really help with your head dominant mix, even your head voice, and even your mix belt. So first, play around with the sound. I'm going to do it. You're going to do it as well, okay? Really sad. I like doing this sound on a slide or a 1, 3, 5, 3, 1 or down, any kind of scale, whatever you're going for, okay? Wah, wah. Just to double check that we aren't producing a nasalized sound, pinch your nose. Wah. These are just a few of the exercises that I like to go through, just something to get you started. If this is something you'd like to work on and want me to hear what your voice sounds right now, send me a message and we can organise some lessons. Make sure to listen to your body and stop if something hurts. That's super important. We don't want to keep going and create bad habits for ourselves. You really want to make sure that it feels comfortable. The end product shouldn't hurt. And there you go, we have reached the end of our first mixing session together. If you'd like a mixing warm-up routine or mixing exercise routine where you follow what I'm doing in real time that you can come back to whenever needed, do let me know in the comments below and I'll get that sorted. I can go over the exercise mentioned so you can do it with me. As always, singing should be fun and exploring your voice should be enjoyable. So if you feel any pain, something's not right. So listen to your body. It has been super enjoyable for you all to be here with me today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the like button if you enjoyed this video, and the bell button to be notified whenever I post. See you very soon for another video. Bye!